Bear Bear, hello Bear Bear. Bear Bears, come here Bear Bears. Hi. Hi buddy. Oh, nice slobber. Nice slobber. Welcome back to Tempa Customs, and on this episode we are going to do a little bit of work on Rusty. I had to go back through the playlist on Rusty to see where I ended up, and the actual last episode of work that was done on Rusty was putting Rusty's engine in. And shortly after that is when, besides the fact that there wasn't much space to work on him with with what I wanted to do, I ran into one thing that kind of frustrated me and kind of made me lose interest in continuing the work at that time. We'll get back to that very shortly, because it's just one of those stupid things. But yeah, we'll get back to that in a minute. But what I want to do now is, because he's been sitting for almost a year without any work done, actually maybe a little longer than that, he's become a storage unit. And I want to go through, and I'm just going to time lapse. I'm going to pull everything out of the back. The interior on Rusty is pretty close to being ready to go. I can't put it all in yet just because I do still have to put a flat or a matte clear. I don't know if I'm going to go super flat. I don't know yet, but I have to do one more clear on this to get it to the sheen I want. So I can't install the interior completely, but I do want to get all the stuff that's in the back of Rusty that doesn't need to be there out. I'm sure there's stuff that I need to work on him buried in there as well, because I would buy things and just put in there like, oh, I know this is going to go, put it in Rusty. So let me go through the back, get everything out of it, and then we'll get back to wanting to work on getting him complete, because I'd like to have him out by next spring-ish. Spring, early summer, I'd like to have Rusty on the road. So let me get this unloaded. Rust is all cleaned out, and it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, though it wasn't great. I still got some stuff on this back fender well, but that's mostly bolts and stuff that like hold the seats down so that I know where they go. It's nice to sit in Rusty again. This is gonna, she sits high. The seats in here are kind of high. They're really comfortable though compared to the ones that are in Ruby. I really do like these seats. I don't know if I ever said what they're for. I think I probably has. These are out of, I do believe, a 99 Golf. And they're just super comfortable. But So, on to why I lost interest for a little while on working on Rusty. And man, I shouldn't have. It could have been done by now. Such a great looking vehicle. But I digress. So what's next in the build of Rusty? Well, as I mentioned earlier, the last thing we did on this before I haven't touched it was to put the engine in. And it was kind of the ordeal. I mean, not any more than anything else, but it wasn't even the ordeal. It was that I took time to make sure everything was perfect. Put the dabs of RTV where they were supposed to be. I used a Fel-Pro gasket. Everything is great. And to get this oil pan off, you have to remove an engine mount just because of how the bolts sit. And that was kind of the big thing, because that kind of aligns the timing cover with everything. And that is the problem. After I had this all in and I was going to get ready to start bolting accessories on and do all that stuff to make an engine look complete so I could work on the exhaust and all that kind of stuff, I remembered I forgot this one piece. And it's amazing to me how one little piece can just kill your will and your drive to finish something. It's sad. This is the oil slinger. This goes on behind the timing cover, and then this brand new balancer pulley will sit right up against it and push, and it'll hold this oil slinger against the crankshaft, and this is what helps sling oil around on your chain and everything like that. But to put this in, I had to take the timing cover off, which is probably RTV'd. I don't remember what I did, if I RTV'd it or if I just high-tacked it. To get that off properly, I need to drop the oil pan, at least a little bit, at least unbolt the oil pan, which means then I'm gonna have to deal with getting RTV back off the corners. So you only put RTV in the corners, but I have to get that cleaned off. And that's just not, it didn't sound like, I don't know, it was frustrating and I kind of lost interest. So that's where we are. So now it is time to address these issues. And just get this done. Get the water pump on, get the header on, get the intake on, and actually try to make this engine fire. I've got an HEI off of a engine that I got out of a frame. I may throw HEI on this engine, because why not? The nutter bypass will be done because, well, I'm not going to put it back in for the computer because it did have one. Yeah, one little washer, and it stalled an entire project. And I'm curious how often that happens to other people. Is it just me where this one little simple thing can stall a project, or does it happen to other people where, you know, you got so far to a part and then realize that you have to go backwards, and that's the frustrating part, and you stop. And the crazy thing is, if I was watching somebody or heard this story about anybody else, I'd be like, well, just put it in. It's simple. It's one little piece, a couple dozen bolts, put the stupid oil slinger in and you're done. When it's you, it's different, and I don't know why. Like, or when it's me, it's different. Maybe not you, but when it's me, it's different. And this just killed it. So, like I said, that's number one priority. Put this in, have our oil slinger back in, and reassemble everything. and we'll be good. We can actually start doing things and make progress. And it's actually not going to be a bad thing because I can drop the oil pan, make sure there's no rust on the underside because, you know, everything has tons of engine assembly, but it's just been sitting. If it's like this rust here, which is on the exhaust manifold, intake manifold, it's just surface rust and it comes right off. So that's not a big deal. But before I end this video, let's go through a couple other things that I know I can do and I have parts for. So like I said, the body has to come off one more time because I need to do the final matte clearish coat. I don't know if it's going to be a full matte or, again, I don't know what sheen I'm putting on it. The clear coat I'm looking at, I can adjust the amount of sheen that gets put into it. So that's good. So the interior is pretty much all there and done. I got to put the brackets in for the seat so the back seat works properly because it's a half split fold. These are also out of the Jetta, not Jetta, out of the Golf that I bought. It's the matching seat to the front seats. I had to go through and weld these all and patch them all together to make these things smaller. Oh, that was a sharp edge on that one, right there. So yeah, I actually had to make these seat pans to the size I needed them, and then they split fold tumble, which I have all the brackets. Everything's made for it. It just has to be installed. But I didn't want to do that to add any extra weight to when I have to take the tub off. Like, I think the roll cage might be bolted in with just a couple of bolts. That seat I don't think is bolted in at all. This one is half bolted in. Got to make another shift knob for my transfer case. I can install the dash. I've got the wiring harness. So yeah, pretty much once I get the clear coat done, I can start doing all the interior work on it, which I'm kind of excited to do. Probably take the body off and give the frame a good washing because that's just fiberglass dust everywhere. Need to get these painted. So there's a whole bunch of little odds and ends to make the to finish the tub out, but the tub is real close to being complete. Should probably put paint on all these screw heads now that I'm thinking about it, because that's spots for water to get in. I'll probably go through here. Probably cut these all off actually. I'll probably come through with a Dremel and cut all these flush so that they're not sharp, or at least cut the pointy part off. And just hit them with some spray paint so it seals the heads, or seals the internals. Now again, this is slightly different than how it used to be, because if you recall on my repair videos on this, it is not it's not wood inside here anymore. It's plastic. So even if water gets inside here, it's not going to rot it like it did before. This is all much more solid. And another big thing Time is going to do is go through and check every single bolt. Like that one's not doing anything at all. And make sure all the bolts are tight. I'll get a paint marker and we'll paint marker all those. And then one of the last big things I can do that I know I have parts for currently that I don't have to spend any money on is the brake line kit. So this might be brake and fuel, but I think this is just brake line. This is all the brake lines, all stainless, pre-bent brake lines, so I can run all that, get all that run in here. I'd cut my firewall. That's another thing I can do. I can cut my firewall. It hasn't been cut yet, so I can get the template. I saved the cowl off of Rusty. It's behind the shed in the back. I can make a cardboard template and cut the firewall out so that that's all ready to go. And I can start running things through there. paint. Again, a bad time of year, but this needs to be painted still. This fender's getting painted. This needs to be painted. And the grill up here, which is fiberglass, needs to be painted. That is a fiberglass tailgate for Ruby. Eventually, we'll do a real fiberglass tailgate. This fender is going to stay blue, and the hood is going to stay whatever color you consider that. Yeah, so we got a lot to do. So there is a lot to do on Rusty coming up, so hopefully we will get back to posting many videos in his playlist to get him up to date and ready to drive. I don't know if I will post this stupid little video with this washer, just because when I built this, you guys saw me assemble all this without the oil slinger in there. So going back to do that, we'll see. I don't know. Maybe I'll just shoot it, because why not? It's a massive mistake that I made that I should probably remember for all eternity. So that's where we're at. We are going to be starting back and working on Rusty's. So I hope you guys will stick around and look forward to a whole bunch of Rusty videos coming down the line. I know there's some Cherokee videos coming to the XJ. We're going to be doing some work on that. There might be a couple Skyline videos and a Stasia video. So we got a whole bunch of stuff in the works that will hopefully be a great end to this 2024 season, or year. So thank you all for watching. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And I hope everybody has a great week.